Welcome to several examples on how to round whole numbers to the nearest 10 or to the tens place value. We'll take a look at rounding on the number line, as well as using the formal rules for rounding. In our first example, we're asked to round 677 to the nearest 10. So let's first use a number line. If we were to count by tens, notice how 677 would fall between 670 and 680. And now let's plot 677 on the number line. Notice how 677 would be approximately here. So to round 677 to the nearest 10 on the number line, we need to determine whether 677 is closer to 680 or 670. Well, we can see it's closer to 680, and therefore 677 rounds up to 680 when rounding to the nearest 10. Using this method always works, except there is one special case. If the value happened to fall right in the middle, the same distance from the two possible rounded values, we always round up. Now let's round this again using the formal rules for rounding. So if we begin with 677, the formal rules tell us to first find the digit in the rounding place value, which is the 7 in the tens place value. Step 2, we locate the digit to the right of the rounding place value, which is the 7 in the ones place value. So the 7 in the ones place value is a decision maker. This 7 indicates whether we round up or down. If the digit to the right of the rounding place value is less than 5, we round down. Again, we have a 7, so this is not the case. The second case is if the digit to the right of the rounding place value is 5 or more, we round up. So because we have a 7 in the ones place value, which is 5 or more, we round up. So to round up, the digit in the rounding place value increases by 1, all digits to the right become 0, which means the 7 in the tens place value increases by 1 to 8, and all digits to the right become 0. So 677 rounds to 680 when rounding to the nearest 10. Now let's round 243 to the nearest 10. Using the number line and counting by tens, 243 is between 240 and 250. 243 falls approximately here on the number line. And because 243 is closer to 240 than it is to 250, to the nearest 10, 243 rounds down to 240. And again, using the formal rules for rounding, we begin with 243. We identify the digit in the rounding place value, which would be the 4 in the tens place value. The digit to the right is a decision maker, which is the 3 in the ones place value. So because 3 is less than 5, you round down. To round down, the digit in the rounding place value stays the same. Notice how we don't decrease it, but the digit in the rounding place value stays the same. So the 4 in the tens stays 4. All digits to the right become 0. The 3 in the ones becomes a 0, giving us 240. Let's look at two more examples that are slightly different. Here we're asked to round 755 to the nearest 10. So using the number line, counting by tens, 755 would be between 750 and 760. And what's different about this example, 750 is right here in the middle. Notice how it's the same distance from 750 as it is from 760. So when this is the case, the rule is that we always round up. So we say 755 rounds up to 760 when rounding to the nearest 10. Again, using the formal rules, we find the digit in the rounding place value, which is the 5 in the tens place value. The digit to the right indicates whether we round up or down. Because we have a 5 in the ones place value, and 5 is 5 or more, we round up, which means a digit in the rounding place value increases by 1. So the 5 in the tens increases by 1 to 6, and all digits to the right become 0. So the 5 in the ones become 0, giving us 760. And let's look at one last example. We're asked to round 498 to the nearest 10. Counting by tens, 498 is between 490 and 500. 498 would be approximately here. Because 498 is closer to 500 than it is to 490, 498 rounds up to 500 when rounding to the nearest 10. Using our formal rules, we begin with 498. We begin by identifying the digit in the rounding place value, which is the 9 and the 10's place value. The digit to the right is a decision maker, so the 8 and the 1's place value indicates whether we round up or down. So because it's an 8, and 8 is 5 or more, we round up. So the digit in the rounding place value increases by 1, our digit to the right becomes 0. So this one's a little bit different because notice how if we increase 9 to 10, 10 tens gives us 100. So we add a 1 to the 4 in the hundreds place value, which gives us a 5 in the hundreds, and all digits to the right become 0, giving us 500. So if you're having difficulty rounding, using the number line is a great way to visualize what's happening when we round to a particular place value. I hope you found this helpful.